So, I'm just curious. So this is number 11. Does 11 have a
11.
special significance for you?
Eric, for me, it does.
Okay. Can you elaborate?
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, you want me to? Oh, okay. Well, for me, it means that by now, by the 11th episode, I have figured out that for us in our talking, it's not just the words that we use, but it's the order that we put them in that's just as important.
True. 11 for me is Spinal Tap. This one goes to 11. And I'm so
This one
glad
goes
to say
to
that
11.
this one goes to 11. Episode
Yes.
11.
This is 11 of Transcendence.
Okay, while we're talking 11s, a great trick. While we're just, this ain't political, this ain't philosophical, it's mathematical. Here's a great trick for you. Tio Mark.
The answer is 121.
11 times 35 is... So
11 times 35 is 361.
Wrong. I'm going to tell you how to solve an 11's problem, and you'll pass it on to your neighbor. 11 times 35, you take the 3 and the 5, and you separate them, and then you add them together, and you put that number in the middle. So 11 times 35 is 385. Boom.
Right. I knew that.
11 times 42 is?
Is 462.
Got it. Done. And
Really?
Yes. And if the sum goes over 10, then you add 1 to the left side, to the 100. So, 46 times 11 is 500. I love math stuff. You know what I'm really into right now? It's chess. Do you love chess?
I love chess.
Freaking love
chess is great.
Have you played chess since you were a kid? Did you learn to play when you were young?
Heck yeah. In fact, I used to play chess so much, and I used to buy these books by the Italian grandmasters, and I'd play against them through the books. And my older brother, would run around the house shouting, "Mark's playing with himself again."
Oh, brothers.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Actually, my brother played chess and my dad played, and I just didn't get it when I was a kid. I played checkers, I played backgammon, but I did not get chess. And we talk about silver linings in this era. What are our silver linings in this kind of nightmare era? And one of my silver linings is definitely chess. I finally learned how to play chess. I was just playing before I got on here. I was playing with my son Julian. Play on chess.com, which is amazing, and they have all these lessons, and you can play anybody in the world at any time. So you go on chess.com, you can be playing someone instantly, literally, like that quickly. I can play someone in Russia, in South Korea, in Mongolia, in Argentina, and you're playing them in a game, and it's just like it's the ultimate game, ultimate. But I never got it till now. I never really grasped it, and it's such a what a great.
So when you play chess, do you notice that, particularly as the game progresses, sort of kind of a cruel streak comes out within oneself?
Sure. Attack.
Yeah.
That it does. I have had situations where I don't know, like like all of a sudden things will look like a chessboard to me once you start playing a lot, like out in life, And this guy that I was studying, this lessons I was taking, or no, a book I was reading on chess, he said, think about the bishop, says he's like arrows, that whoosh, and the castles are like these, what are the castles? He thinks of them as like these, I don't know, he has these kind of metaphors for, and the knight is like a guy on a horse, he comes by with a spear and he can kind of go this way, and it's like, but isn't life, I mean, that's probably a super, super cliche that's been used a million times. But now that I understand chess, I'm like, life is kind of like chess, or chess is like life, right? I mean, You
it
make
depends.
a move.
Right. It depends who you're playing against, because if you're playing it sets you up as in an antagonistic relationship.
Correct.
Like if you have a good friend and you're going off to go sailing with them, ideally it's not like a chess your move kind of situation, and someone's gonna like kill the other person's power base.
Correct.
King. Although it depends on how the conversation's going. I mean, it may be, you want to sink their boat.
True.
I guess the thing is, what reminds me of, Eric, is that when my dad was giving me advice long ago, when he was working full time in Manhattan, he would say to me, he'd go to work with two swords, and one of them was behind his back. And he said it wasn't on the offensive, it was for defense. My dad was a sweetheart, but he said in the world he operates in, he was in the publishing world, and he eventually got to vice president of a company. Wow. It was cutthroat. And so he made friends there. He used his my dad was a photographer. He used his artistic abilities. He enjoyed the work, but you have to, getting back to your metaphor, it's like, I think you have to have the ability to play chess and see things as, the bishop, and you're going to take this person's rook out or whatever, if you need to. But if you don't, it's sort of like, all right, let's see you, Eric Mehring, get in the warrior mode. And I know you're totally capable of more than capable of doing that. But when you're amongst friends, you don't have to be the warrior. You could be the goofy guy or the just jamming guy. And it's just a different model.
What's exciting about chess and life, I mean, you get in and it's like your heart gets... Like it's really, the game is really addictive. Like playing against people, because playing against a computer I'll do to learn, but really I like playing. You can play anybody anytime, and it's really intense. And you have this feeling where you're like, oh my god, this person's they're gonna beat me. I can feel it. But it presents a situation where I realize, wait, well, if they're just trying to win, and of course they think they're planning to win, but you're also planning to win, and it's like this kind of, I think sometimes does people in maybe in life and in situations, is thinking like, oh gosh, all these people are winning, but I didn't let the feeling that he's gonna beat me or he could beat me get in the way of trying to win. And then I ended up winning, and it was like, wow, that was really interesting. Because if I'd have given in to that feeling that I'm in trouble, like if I'd have given in, then he would have beaten me, or I could have resigned, or I could have, and I don't know. I feel like there was some kind of life lesson there.
That's totally a life lesson.
I mean, yeah.
You don't want to give up, and you want to believe. I mean, if you're down, it's the same in like football or in a company or whatever. It's like when you're down. So, for instance, if you have a company, you haven't gotten any contracts or whatever work in years, do you just hang it up? Maybe that's a smart thing to do, or you keep fighting.
Right.
And you don't give up. And then there's so many stories about, I don't know, I'm going to make this up, but like the Rolling Stones or, people who have become very successful, and all the times that they failed, and they just kept going no matter what. And they kept, improving their game. And so there's that whole idea of using failure as that's really important in your evolution and your progress in understanding what success is. And for people who've never failed, it's like you may not want them running your company or being in a serious relationship with them or that sort of thing. And I think it comes back to chess.
You know what when I lose my queen, sometimes I'll totally blunder and lose my queen. And there's a player on chess.com who, when they lose their queen, they automatically resign. And I'm always like, whoa, where are you going? We had a game going. Why'd you just resign? Like, when I lose my queen, you say, ah. But then it's like, wow, now how am I going to figure out and win this game without my queen? You know, it gets almost doubly exciting. Like, I don't want to lose my queen. But if I do, I think that's that lesson, too, of like, okay, that doesn't mean I'm done. It's like, I'm gonna keep scrapping till the end, and maybe I'll still lose. But, you know, it's still going to be thrilling, you know, so...
I have a really powerful memory of when I was a little boy, and I used to play chess against my grandfather.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And I had two grandfathers, of course, and one was just the sweetest guy. And on the other side of the family, he was gruff and tough, and he smoked a lot, and he was just... I'd ask him, please don't smoke, and he would just keep smoking. And he was just not... warm and cuddly, and he and I would play chess. And I'll never forget the first time I beat him. It was really kind of intense. It wasn't a good feeling. It was kind of, it was a little bit dark. It was a little battle there, I guess. I don't know. It's just one of those strange memories I have in my life. And jump ahead a bunch of years, and I have a 13-year-old son who I play chess with a lot, and sometimes my 15-year-old daughter, but mostly my son. And it's just been so special to play chess with him.
Yeah. Awesome.
And, you know, like I would let him take pieces back. I was trying to boost his confidence, and over the years, he's gotten really good.
Awesome.
And I'd say maybe a third of the time now he beats me, and I'm trying. And I'm just so proud of him, and it's so much fun. And, you know, we laugh a lot.
That's amazing. Yeah.
They're fun games. And I feel like it's helping to teach him abstraction.
Oh, my God. I mean, it is so much. Like, I have like, we'll have to get a game going on chess.com, because I have ongoing games with my brother and my cousin. These are like multi-day games, so you have max 3 days to make a move, and it's really fun. So it's not like you all have to sit down and like everyone has to, which is also really fun. But this is more like, it's kind of like it allows you to kind of, but like, so Julie and I, you know, we strategize, we play against my brother and stuff, but then Julie and I sit down and like the discussions that go on. It's like this is, I guess, what I'm also intrigued by. It's like people have been playing this game for a long time. You know, I've researching what as I understand, came out of India. It was a game originally like with elephants and, you know, kings and things, but people have been playing this for a long time. You know, we talk about legends. You know, why people love legends. It's Luke Skywalker, and you know, all like why have people engaged in this activity for so long? There's something that, you know, speaks to something. There's something that speaks to something. How's that for some philosophy?
All right, your move.
We both read A Burning by Megha Majumdar.
Majumdar, yeah.
So you read it, correct?
I read the book, yeah.
And I listened to it.
Okay.
And
what was it like hearing this book, Eric?
Well, it was they use different voices for. So in this book, A Burning, a character who lives in a slum in Kolkata, she post something on Facebook about a terrorist attack that happened at a train station, right? And she gets into a lot of hot water, a tremendous amount of hot water. And so there's three main characters in the book. There's a school teacher, was a school teacher, now has political ambitions. And then there's the main character. And then there is a hijra, which is a transvestite. And
who wants to become in getting into the acting business.
Correct. And so those different voices, as well as Javan, the main character, and Lovely, the hijra, and PT Sir, the three main characters, as well as Javan's parents, and anyways, different voices for those people. That was really interesting.
Beautifully written, very, very powerful, but it was so dark. I was having trouble getting through it, just like I was as a 19-year-old, I dropped out of this course on Sylvia Plath, and we had this podcast coming, so I was all right, I'm going to get through this book. And at that time, I'm a member of Twitter, and I follow various people, and one of the people I follow is named Stuart Stevens. He's kind of this famous guy who's helped presidents become president, things like that. Very politically, yeah. Project Lincoln. Yeah, and so I saw him posting something about Sylvia Plath, which I was thinking about. I was thinking about Sylvia Plath because I'm trying to get through a burning, and it was just, they're both so dark. I made that connection in my mind. And he made a comment about Sylvia Plath, so I responded in a tweet publicly saying, oh, well, when I was 19 years old, I dropped out of this class on Sylvia Plath because it was so dark. And I said one or two other things, but basically that's what I said. And I've never had this happen before. I don't know if this is called cancel, like as part of cancel culture, but I got swamped with tweets. Like my little phone here, each time I get a response, it goes beep. And so the thing was beeping through the night. And they were nasty comments to me. People were saying the problem is not Sylvia Plath, who stuck her head in the oven and, killed herself. The problem is you. They were talking about me.
My God.
And people were saying, you don't read, and you don't understand poetry, and you are, shallow, and you are this, and you are that. And people really, people don't even know who I am. And so I would try to say things like, gosh, that's my 19-year-old self. I'm now 60 years old, but I was commenting on a decision I made as I don't know, 19, was I a freshman? Whatever God. I was in college.
The bishop just moved to, check your...
Checkmate.
Check your king, baby.
Yeah, they were trying to slice off my, my sword.
Oh, my God.
And so I was just swamped. And I was wondering, I wonder if Stuart is going to step up and say, hey guys, leave this guy alone. But he didn't. He was just observing the whole thing. And I was thinking, I need to delete my tweet because I'm just getting abused here. But then I thought, no, I'm going to learn something from this. I don't know what I'm going to learn, but I'm going to learn something. And it turns out I did. And it really helped me with a burning. And what I learned was one of the people, well, two things. One is a professor, like this guy who's written 40 books. He and I got in not an argument, a discussion. I ended up buying his books about William Faulkner. So I'm very excited about that. The other thing is someone said to me, interspersed with all the nasty comments about what a jerk I am and how stupid I am, and I don't understand, anything. One person said, well, what you need to do when you look at Sylvia Plath is don't look at the content. Look at the form. Don't look at the fact that she's so dark and everything is... She's a very depressed woman. And without being judgmental, it's like she was having trouble living. And she needed help. And this comes through very strongly, at least in the poems that I've encountered. But the person who wrote to me, Eric, pointed out that the poems themselves, look at the language. It's so astoundingly, profoundly beautiful. And I agree. Sylvia Plath is an amazing writer. And that's how I got through a burning. Because Megha Majumdar is such an astoundingly brilliant writer. The craft.
Yes.
The craft. The content was too dark for me.
Right. It's funny. So that's where you went with it. One of my favorite books that you've read as well is A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry. And as I was reading it every reader gets to make their own associations, and for me, it totally reminded me of A Fine Balance. It felt like a mini version of a part of A Fine Balance, which is just the dark side when he talks about the darkness, and just the way that she used the characters. That's what I was reminded of. Which is one of my favorite books of all time, A Fine Balance, if not my favorite. So I just really appreciated how she used characters and the conversations and their thoughts and their actions to illustrate things using these characters and their relationships. It really, anyways, it conjured up a hidden mystery for me. And she's gotten a lot of acclaim for this book, a ton, and good for her, and good for shining a light on these things. The politician in this book, fascinating. That I definitely learned something just reading about this guy, how people get bent, right, because of power, right? They start off as a PE teacher, and then little by little, you get to interact with, like a star on stage. And then all of a sudden you're interacting with that star and this movie star, and whoa. And then all of a sudden you have more power, and then you have power to, you get money if you do things, and you get power to, that's
the key. If you do things,
right.
Hey,
if you do things, right.
If you do things, hey, look, I'm giving you this access to this power. Could you do this little thing for me?
It's just a
little thing. And that's a slippery slope. And that is the issue of morality. So when you start out and you're 17-year-old and you look at the world and you say, gosh, and you see the Marvel comic strips and, doing good for the universe. And, it's easier at that point to say, I want to be on the right side of the force, and I want to do good in the world. But as you get older and you see power yourself, what do you do with that? And that's where some people start making compromises, and it's a slippery slope. And in a burning, the slope gets really slippery.
Interesting to think about transvestites in India. Like in India, she discusses this, that they bless people, for money at weddings or on the train.
I thought it was fascinating and difficult because, being in such a, we were talking about caste before, and being such sort of like a double whammy, to be Muslim and a trans person, and to have very, very, very little money. I guess that's sort of implied. And so let's say three levels down in the caste system. And that person, as characterized in this novel as by the name Lovely, really wanted to do the right thing and wanted to rise up and be talented and be recognized, and to rise up within the caste system, the structure, the hierarchy. But they too went down that slippery slope in a kind of dark way. Nobody seemed immune to the darkness and the moral failures of us humans.
It's not about making a happy ending. This book was more about illustrating something, right? Like showing how things, you get from A to B. The author was kind of showing how that stuff plays out, right?
Yeah.
More than reading something where you get to the end and you're like, oh, and it's nice how she tied things up, and how, in the end we have synergy here, even though we thought we were going to have it here, or something. No, it's not.
That's not here. But
I'm not giving anything away, but it's not. It's illustrative rather than.
I mean, put another way, often in a book, certainly in a novel, you'd sort of want some of the characters who go on a journey and maybe moral transgressions to learn something and to grow. And I certainly didn't think, I just felt like everyone was sliding down the wrong side of the slide.
I wonder what she faces in terms of being an author. When she goes back to India, what especially because this book has gotten a lot of renown. Like what?
Maybe she doesn't go back to India right now.
You got to wonder. But she also has now because she has a big name. Maybe she won't face. She has no like our friend, say in India, who's a professor. She's not going to speak up. Because she lose her job or get face persecution. Isn't that crazy? Look out! No wonder that Trump and Modi enjoyed each other's company. Speaking of, I did want to sing I had a song I wanted to sing, and it's a song because it's a song about a great patriot. I thought this would be a great thing, because we're speaking about great patriots. I thought I'd sing a song, and it's in honor of a great patriot. This is called Medal of Freedom. All right, let's see. Fights for us all, Medal of Freedom, stand so tall, Medal of Freedom. That's your part, you gotta say that. We're in awe, Medal of Freedom, Rush Limbaugh, he got a Medal of Freedom. Ooh, he got a Medal of Freedom. Ooh, he got a Medal of Freedom. Free men tried, Medal of Freedom. Free men died, Medal of Freedom. Free men cry, Medal of Freedom. Free men high, you got a Medal of Freedom. Everybody, ooh, Medal of Freedom. Ooh, you got a Medal of Freedom. Jesus Christ got no Medal of Freedom. Harriet Tubman, you got no Medal of Freedom. Frederick Douglass doing an amazing job and is being recognized more and more, but got no Medal of Freedom. Rush Limbaugh, you got your Medal of Freedom. Ooh, you got a Medal of Freedom. Ooh, you got a Medal of Freedom. Ooh, Medal of Freedom. Ooh, Medal of Freedom. Wipe your eyes, say Medal of Freedom. Don't you cry, Medal of Freedom. You're the guy, Medal of Freedom. Medals and freedom, Medal of Freedom. Ooh, you got a Medal of Freedom. Ooh, you got a Medal of Freedom. Years from now, what will they say about us? Who stood the ground, wouldn't go to the back of the bus? Who stood up tall, not to brag, wave the American flag. Medal of Freedom. Ooh, you got a Medal of Freedom. Ooh, Medal of Freedom. Ooh, you got your Medal of Freedom.
Oh, nice song. Wow. Thank you for that.
The Patriots get the medals, the honor, and they deserve it. And we just want to honor,
You know what that reminds me of, Eric? There was an actual hero back some number of years at the Olympics.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
There was an actual hero who did something really heroic. His name is Richard Jewell,
right?
Who was, as I recall, like a 40-something-year-old, 43 or something-year-old security guard, worked with law enforcement at times, and he was hired, tell me if I'm wrong, by AT&T to guard a tower, which was used for communication during the, I think it was the Summer Olympics in Atlanta?
96 Olympics in Atlanta, yeah.
In Atlanta, Georgia, and he did something heroic. He he was observant. He saw something that looked highly suspicious. He acted upon it, risked his own life, as I understand it, and really sprang into action as a hero would do, and was vilified.
Well, yeah, they quickly blamed him, and this was the first thing I thought of when I was reading A Burning. You know how different readers you get conjures different things, and I immediately was thinking I thought of Richard Jewell as one of these people, you know, where society quickly finds someone to blame for something, demonizes that person, and everybody buys in. The public buys in. The media gets the public to buy in, right? The prosecutors get the public to buy in. Everybody wants, and that's kind of what happens in the book A Burning. There's different realities, but there's also that reality where people just want the monster, and they want to think that, and she's the monster, and everyone, and the press confirms it, and the prosecutors confirmed it. And thinking back to Richard Jewell, I saw the Clint Eastwood movie about him recently and read up more, and thinking back, I mean, I was hook, line, and sinker. I bought that reality totally that the press gave. Oh, that he's the guy. Oh, he's this schlump, and he just wanted to be. He did it to get known, or to be a hero. Like he planted the bomb, and then told everyone about it, and then told everyone to go away so he could be the hero that had saved people. Right? I bought that. I definitely totally guilty as charged. But it scares me because it makes me realize how the press can do that to you. I mean, my younger self. I might be a little smarter about it now, hopefully. But
be careful mentioning things on Twitter because you'll get rolled over.
Right, he's totally exonerated. Totally
right. It wasn't him.
And a lot of the damage had been done. It wasn't him, you know. But I didn't, you know. I saw that movie. He was
vilified years later.
Just. Anyway, so that I'm glad you brought that up because it made me think of that that same thing where a bomb happened, you know, kind of like something and
similar to a burning,
right? And
society reaches out because it's trying to. People are scared, and there has to be. This collective cleansing. People have to point, and I guess in order to feel safe, they have to find the bad guy. It's not so great for everybody.
It almost seems
when it's not clear what happened.
It almost seems like it's more important to say that you found the bad guy than to actually find the bad guy, right? It doesn't. That's what happened in this book. They found her. She posted this thing, and then she got blamed. And Richard Jewell certainly, it was like, okay, that's him. It's him. And then it was definitely not. But it was almost more important. I'm thinking of the lottery that we talked about a few episodes back. You know, like where you have you got to find the monster and vilify and throw stones at the monster. Is an interesting aspect of, interesting to say the least, of being human.
But here in the U.S., we're so U.S., so us. We're so better.
We smell better, as in like we go like this, or that we are pits.
We are pits.
Our pits smell
we smell so much better that like Smather, like Cotton Mather.
But
do you know who Cotton Mather is?
Well, he was the cousin of Mr. Peach when Mr. Peach lived in India, and
in 1600s, exactly.
I see. Oh, and then the chess, because chess was played in India originally. I get it. I see where you were going, and the whole thing was the pits. You were getting me back to the pits. Why do you always do that to me?
There's
You're
a lot
always,
of
it's always
chestnuts. Yeah, people are nuts about chests, and that's a problem with the males. But I think we can all overcome this easily simply by following the directions
on the cereal box.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we want cereal, we don't want a serial killer.
Correct.
But we do like Captain Crunch.
Chomp chomp. And Fruit Loops? No.
What did you say?
Peas porridge hot.
Peas porridge cold.
Peas porridge in the cruise.
The frozen dog 3 days old. I like one frozen dog with that. So one question I know a lot of what we speak about here when we don't quite get the order of the words correct is morals and what's the right thing to do. So let me pose a question to you. If you were a dog, who would you rather have as your master? Ted Cruz or Mitt Romney? Would you rather be strapped to the roof of a car while driving somewhere on vacation, or would you rather be left at home in a freezing house with poor quality water while your family doesn't take you and they go off to Cancun because it's all the daughter's faults? And let the Texans just deal with their issues and die freezing in their houses on their own, because it's a kind of a very independent minded state. They don't like it's like Alaska. It's like, we're really independent. Could we have more federal funds, please? It's like, I've got friends in Alaska. It's like, oh God, do you not see that?
Same with Texas.
Hello?
Texas's power grid is like the only in the whole country. They're the only country that's like not on the power grid, apparently. On the national power grid, I don't know. But you know, it's good to be independent.
Yeah, it's good to be independent while still hanging on the national teat. Hey, that sucks. So which master would you want?
Oh, correct. Wait, what is this about? Romney? Did he put his dog on the top of a car?
Oh my gosh, dude, where have you been?
Oh no, I missed it.
Where have you been, Mr. Bean? So years ago, Mitt Romney I think this was before he was running for president, because this came out one of the times he's run for president. I think this was after he was governor in Massachusetts. I think he was governor in Massachusetts. Anyway, he's had a very interesting life. He's done a lot of interesting things. And it turns out he has a backbone, and sometimes he has an excellent moral compass, in my opinion. So I hope you don't put that on Twitter, because I'll just get creamed. But having said that, at one point he took his family on vacation, or I don't know, maybe it was his daughter's fault, but they strapped their dog to the roof of the car and off they went.
No.
Yeah.
No, come on. You're serious. I did not.
Dog eat dog world. So
I'm chess.
No. This is nonfiction. I'm quite serious. This is a podcast. Would I mess with you? Pawn to King's Bishop 3.
Who would I rather have as my owner? That's a great question. That's a great dog philosophical thought experiment.
Well, if you want to gnaw on your bone for a while and think about it.
Oh boy. I'm gonna say Mitt Romney. Do I get it? Do I get a prize? Ding 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 ding. I think
you get a medal of freedom of honor medal, like
Medal
the
of
song
Freedom.
you were singing.
Does that come with Ritz crackers from the Ritz?
Yes. I think it's all crumbling.
Are you scratching your beard because you're remembering the times that you had margaritas when you left your state?
No, I'm still
freezing?
hungry. I have a little bit of food in there. No, I don't leave my state. I leave my estate.
Oh.
And S stands for snowflake. Roof, roof. They call it, there's this new song. It's being played by Sandy Beach, and it's called My Dog. You ready?
Yeah.
My dog is not a hot dog. My dog is rather cold. He's really kind of frozen. He's frozen 3 days old.
Yum.
Yum. So it's the snowflake song.
Oh, gosh. Does the hot dog ever... Did you ever do that with a hot dog?
No, absolutely. Because have you ever been to barbecue and you had a chili dog? Oh, my God. Yeah, you could just... I mean, that's it. If you can't coon, you can Cancun. I can coon.
Cocoon.
I can coon. I can coon.
Cocoon.
The GQP. So I'm so glad that Ted Cruz is so Ted Cruz-like, because he can hold all that Ted Cruz-ness within himself, and no one else has to have any. Because imagine if this spread through the land like a virus.
Right. So he holds it all in. That's where it's in his belly, is all that Ted Cruz-ness.
Right.
And he's keeping it in because he's a real patriot. I mean, he's a true American. He really is watching out for all of us. So he holds all of it in there.
Right.
Is that what he's doing?
He would never lie to us. He would
lie on us.
Well, he would lie on Sandy Beach. In fact, I think he was lying on Sandy Beach.
Oh,
that's why he was wearing his rubbers. So he didn't get burned while his chili dog was freezing.
Well, Chris Christie was toasting a marshmallow.
Oh, Chris is always toasting his. I'm
all about true patriots. True. Folks that are standing up for like chili dogs, cheese dogs, relish on cheese, on dogs, on bun. If they're for that, as long as they're for that.
Oh, they like it when it's on the buns. Yeah, they love that. I don't know. Is that Second Amendment, the chili dog thing? No. What is that? Which one is that? I forget. But anyway, as long as they're standing up for what's right, or at least what's fattening. Well, it's definitely to the right. Yeah, they're standing up for all the stuff on the right. Yeah.
Can they standing up with all that girth that he's holding in? He can stand up. Yeah. I guess,
that Girth Brooks?
No, never. No, because Girth Brooks would never stay at the Ritz-Carlton, and that's what Ted Cruz he did. He got his family in place, and then he came back to stand up for what's right. So it's good to recognize.
And it's sort of nice also for these really astute politicians to be thinking about the next generation, because if you didn't have kids, Eric, I mean, picture yourself. If you didn't have kids, how could you blame all the stupid things you did? If you didn't have kids to blame it on, that's
what I do all the time.
Yeah,
anything dumb I do, I said my kids.
Oh, my kids made me do it.
They wanted me to do it, and I wanted to be a good dad. So you know, yeah.
Because you wanted to be a dad, or you wanted to be like a crawdad.
Yeah, well, it's that song. It's like that song, Crawdad sitting on a railroad track, honey,
honey.
Thank you. You're with me. Yeah. Well, so yeah, actually, it is.
You're either with me or you're not with me.
It's part dad, it's part crawdad, and because I'm a vegetarian, I'm all about crawdads. And by crawdads, I mean celery.
Do you want to parse that for me?
Well, okay.
Where,
I know
like,
how
if let's say you were running for elected official posts, it's like, what the hell did you just say? And could you paint it in like different colors?
Well, I'd say, you're not trying to like be partisan on this issue, are you? Because like when it comes to celery and carrots,
what do you got to celery? So, but the thing is, it's in terms of partisan, like I just had pasta. Let's just be honest. I had spaghetti, and what did we have? We had Parmesan cheese. Parmesan cheese, and it's like so cheesy,
but very partisan.
Yeah, partisan cheese.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Well, I would expect nothing less from someone who doesn't like broccoli.
Oh, you're going to bring that up.
Oh, I am.
Are we playing chess right now? Is that it?
We are.
Your move.
No, I did. I moved. No, it's your move. Check.
Oh, you're saying by it's my move. That was your move.
Yes,
kind
correct.
Of just to chop me off at the willy. Right?
No, at the floret. It was the
don't do that floret with me, man. I've been to France. I know all about that.
I mean, because
don't broccoli me, man. Don't make me eat anything healthy.
I'll broccoli you into a corner, baby.
Well, listen, listen. If I were Ted Cruz, I mean, there's so many funny jokes now about Ted Cruz.
But why? He's a patriot. Let the man be. He's just like, he's out for the good of all.
But that whole thing about when things get rough, it's so funny. Like the irony is so thick.
Go to Mexico and Cancun.
In Mexico.
Yeah, but the Ritz-Carlton. I mean, come on. What's interesting was when he got there, Giuliani was already in the pool, and it was kind of funny because Giuliani's hair dye had like turned the whole pool into a kind of a brown kind of thing. So they just dipped their glasses in it and drank and told people it was whiskey. And that's what you can do now. Is you can say this is you can. Language doesn't mean anything. It's just what you say it is, and then it doesn't mean even that. So,
which hotel?
Cheers.
This was the
Ritz.
Wait. You mean the Ritz Total Construction?
Correct. Yeah. Giuliani said, "I know a great hotel in Cancun. It's the Ritz."
But didn't Giuliani say to Cruz, "Everything tastes good when it sits on a Ritz"?
It does. Yeah, he does. He did, and he's right, and it does.
Is that where they perform the Brits? Or is that the British Museum? The Brits. No, was the Brits or the Brits? Wait, which you're coming?
Whoa.
The Brits?
Hold on, not back to the Brits, please. I've been there. I've done it.
How often have you been there?